And what is going on, everyone? And welcome to another fun edition of Houston Texans football on the Bleacher Report app. I am one part of your show, Ruben Calvillo, dropping daily Houston Texans content on 713 Houston Sports. The man with me, my co host, also dropping daily Houston Texans content, but also adds in some Rockets and Astros. Harley at the lead underscore Houston. How's it going, dude?
Man, I'm doing all right. I'm excited about the draft. We are
Mm.
obviously, again, less than a month away now for the draft. Today would be day three's part of the NFL draft in just a month. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. This is always fun. The hypotheticals are fun. The conversation is fun. And you get to engage with the rest of the Texans community, all the NFL fans, and debate who you think is the guy for 25 or whatever team that you root for. So yeah, always love this time of the year.
Just think about how quick this offseason is going, right? We went already from final whistle against the Kansas City Chiefs to the free agency period. Now we are towards the end of the free agency period, and now it is, now draft time, and programs are having the pro days. We're gonna jump into it, man. Shout out to Bleach Report allowing us to come on here, talk Houston Texans football. Always a shout out to the man upstairs. Harley, I wanted you to react to my Houston Texans mock draft. And then I
Mhm.
think we could do one together at the end like we did last video. So, my first overall selection, pick 25. If I was general manager Nick Casario, I will take Josh Simmons, tackle out of Ohio State. I'm going to read you the draft profile. If it wasn't for a season ending injury, Josh Simmons could have been more widely regarded as the best offensive line prospect in the 2025 NFL draft. In the 6 games he started, Simmons put out the best and most consistent tape in the class, which is supported by the singular quarterback pressure he allowed. While the injury opens the door for other prospects to be picked before him, Simmons could still and should be a first round pick and could be a top 20 selection in April. Now, I think that's right where the Houston Texans are. Pick 25 in the middle of the 20s. I could see them going up and trading for Josh Simmons, right? If you want your guy, go ahead and get your guy. Another thing that I like from this draft profile, his overall tools not only make him a prospect who can start immediately, but he can also eventually develop into a high level starter and become a franchise cornerstone left tackle. And that's who I am taking at pick 25 in the first round. Josh Simmons, the Ohio State University. Your thoughts on the first round, Harley?
I love it. I love Josh Simmons. I actually do. I know a lot of people are um, very hesitant with his injury, but today we got to see his pro day.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Simmons had his pro day today. And for somebody that is just coming off 5 months from a torn patellar tendon, he looked amazing. I mean, that is a miracle, first of all. The way he's moving, the way he's doing his thing out there at Pro Day, he looked absolutely phenomenal. Everyone is saying, oh my goodness, look at what Josh Simmons does. He had 33 bench reps. That would have been the most at tied him for the most at the NFL Combine this year. So he looked just fine. He looked absolutely fine. You had some people saying that he should be a lock to go top 15.
Oh my God.
And that is, again, crazy to say because you don't really know if, yeah, he looks great after these 5 months. There's still the question of whether or not he will be ready for this regular season. But man, he looked damn good in his pro day, and I'd be very much willing to take him at 25.
Which is why also I love this pick because if you take him in the first round, I think he is plan C for you this season. Because first you have to see what Cam Little gives you I'm sorry, Cam Robinson gives you at left tackle. Then you
Shark
have
Tank
to
Little.
see then you have to see what Trent Brown gives you at the tackle spot. So we're not really asking and praying that Josh Simmons is healthy by training camp by week 1. We're giving him time to get fully 100% healthy, and then we'll see him later on in the season locking down and becoming a franchise left tackle. But I would feel ecstatic with Josh Simmons in the first round. All right.
Yeah, I have the same. I have the same feelings there.
Okay. Pick 58, someone who we have rarely talked about. Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State, 6'4", 214 pounds. Higgins is a wide receiver known for his impressive size and reliable hands. After transferring from Eastern Kentucky to Iowa State, he recorded 87 receptions for 1,183 yards and 9 touchdowns in the 2024 season, earning second team All Big 12 honors. Higgins excels in contested catch situations, utilizing his frame to shield defenders and secure the ball effectively. However, his limited agility can make it challenging for him to create separation on sharply breaking routes, which is where I have some concern because when you talk about a Nick Caley wide receiver, well, they need to run some pretty damn good routes. However, I see
Mm.
6'4". I see two Nico Collins on the opposite side and Kirk Cousins eating Kirk Cousins, Jesus, Christian Kirk eating up in the middle. Jaden Higgins would be your wide receiver 3 and potentially your wide receiver 2 of the future.
Yeah, absolutely. He's 6'4", 210. I know they're talking about his route running ability there. I don't think it's that much of a concern as it's saying. I really don't. I think he's very much, when you look at the film and everything, I think he's created a lot of separation out
Mhm.
of from Iowa State as the wide receiver there. Uh, Very much somebody that I would be ecstatic to grab to pair alongside Nico Collins. You obviously don't have that natural number 2 wide receiver, Christian Kirk. A lot of his production came from the slot. But what's wrong with a 6'4" wide
Mm.
receiver who ran a 4.47 40 at the NFL Combine? Like I'm pretty excited about that. And right away you hit two needs for the Texans: offensive line and wide receiver.
And I think, offense is where the Houston Texans go, Harley, because the defense, even, before the CJ Gardner Johnson edition, where we're talking about it being a Super Bowl caliber defense. Now, you added one of the best safeties in the NFL, you add a healthy Christian Harris, and who knows, what type of defense that you're going to get in 2025, but it's going to be a damn good one. So going offense is where I think the Houston Texans go. What do you think?
Yeah, I fully agree with you there. Offense, as we all know, is something the Texans were not having great offense at all last year. And given with the situation trading Laramie Tunsil and knowing that you were trying to reconstruct the offensive line, you also need a wide receiver, considering that Tank Dell, you're not going to have Stephon Diggs. He just signed some big money with the New England Patriots. And then Tank Dell, we don't know. Pretty sure that he might be out for the whole season as well. So, really, the only two wide receivers that you're confident going into next year with is Nico Collins and Christian Kirk. The other guys, they're more just competition and see what happens. But, and hey, Jaden Higgins, 192 targets, only 2 drops.
Mm.
That's pretty damn nice right
M-
there.
Imagine having two Nico Collins.
That's what I'm talking about. Like that right there, because now you're giving CJ Stroud another guy that he could get comfortable with, he can rely on. Reliability is a big factor. We've seen Nico Collins in the back-to-back playoff years with CJ Stroud as the only receiver. And CJ Stroud relies on him heavily. It'd be great to grab another guy like that.
Mm. Now the Houston Texans entered the third round. The third round where they have two selections. And I went a little nasty here, Harley, because when my first pick in the third round, pick 79, I went Quinshawn Judkins, wide receiver from the Ohio State University, From a physical standpoint, Quinshawn is a prototypical running back for today's NFL, blessed with a well-built frame and possessing top-notch speed and explosiveness. He is a powerful runner who hits the open running lane hard and has the athleticism to take advantage of what the offensive line gives him. It's no surprise he tested in the 98th percentile athlete at running back at the 2025 NFL Combine. The ball carrier vision has shown on tape is promising, but he'll need to be more consistent in how he processes up the middle, where he needs to gain more than just a yard or two. If he improves his consistency a bit, he has a potential to be a consistent 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL. And Quinshawn is now your backup running back behind Joe Mixon. And dude, you're talking about explosiveness. You're talking about another weapon for this Houston Texan offense, and you get that with Quinshawn Judkins.
It's funny. He's about 6 foot 220, and he's built like a tank. I mean, his workout was blowing up everywhere on Twitter yesterday, where he was just I don't know how much he was lifting there, but my goodness, he looks like a physical specimen. And you talk about having him at running back too. Like this is what you do. The Houston Texans need a running back, and the Texans took a look at 8 running backs in the NFL Combine. Of the 30 guys that they met with, 8 of them were running backs. So, very excited to see Quinshawn Judkins potentially be a pick for the Houston Texans. I would love this. I would be ecstatic. We need a running back. We've been needing a running back for many years. We're glad that Joe Mixon fell into our
Mhm.
laps last year. Otherwise, I don't know what we'd be doing right now at the running back position. Damian Pierce, hey, if you figure it out, you figure it out. But I don't care. Like I'd rather draft a running back, and we'll figure out if Damian Pierce figures the scheme out or whatever. And if he does, that's just a bonus. But nah, I love this pick. Great stiff arm too. Oh, he's got a nasty stiff arm. You see, that's something you'll see a lot on his film. Great stiff arm.
And Judkins, you got to think like the Houston Texans haven't had a effective running back tandem since Arian Foster and Ben Tate. Just think about what a thunder and lightning, or like how you like to say, a lightning and lightning can do for this Houston Texan offense. But that's where I went with pick 79, running back Quinshawn Judkins out of the Ohio State. In at pick 89, just 10 selections later, Harley, I went with Dylan Fairchild, guard out of Georgia. Here's what they have to say. He stands at 6'5", 318 pounds. Fairchild is a powerful and technically sound offensive lineman with the versatility to excel at guard or tackle. Known for his physicality and aggression, he can at times tend to the over aggressive side, which can hurt his technique and position. Fairchild's quick feet and balance stance make him effective in pass protection, where he handles speed rushers and anchors well against power. A lack of experience is a concern with limited collegiate starts, and he could need more development than other interior offensive linemen in this draft. However, those starts are in the SEC, which sets Fairchild in good position heading into the draft. He also has high football IQ and position flexibility. The key words that stood out to me, Harley, when I made this selection were technically sound, which is what Nick Caley, our new offensive coordinator, has brought up. Pass protection, which is something that head coach D'Amico Ryans has brought up. And then once again, flexibility, going back to Nick Caley. And I think, that's where I'm going with my final selection in the third round, Dylan Fairchild, guard out of Georgia. And if you're asking me, I feel like I have three day one starters in Jaden Higgins, Quinshawn Judkins, and Dylan Fairchild. And then towards the end of the season, come playoff time, we see Josh Simmons there as your starting left tackle.
Yeah, I don't know if Fairchild's there at 89, but I would absolutely jump to the podium if he is there. I do like Fairchild a lot. He's one of the highest rated pass blockers in the SEC. last year. Him and it was another guard, but he was from LSU. I can't remember his name right now. But I mean, Fairchild's a 2 year starter. In those 2 years as a starter, he only allowed one sack. The guy's a former state champ wrestler. Like, you got to have that kind of grittiness on your team. Fairchild is somebody I would enjoy the Houston Texans grabbing here. And you immediately have already filled your offensive line spots. You've filled a wide receiver spot as well as a running back spot. So to me, this is good. So far, this is a pretty good draft. I don't mind it so far.
Yeah, no, I think this is a draft where you say that, for the future, it's looking pretty well. And, you're talking about left tackle, need, wide receiver, need, running back, need, guard, need. And I think this will be a draft that everyone would be excited for. Would this okay, so we talked about a grade for the offseason. Seeing a mock draft like this, what grade alongside of this free agency would you give the Houston Texans?
First of all, I'll grade the mock draft.
Let's do it.
Um, I would say it's about it feels like a B plus kind of draft.
Okay.
Maybe right at a straight B. Again, Josh Simmons, we don't ultimately know if he can be ready for the NFL season. This is only 5 months since his patellar tendon was torn, but he looked amazing at his pro day. So who knows? That to me, that's still a big question mark. And for a team that's looking to win now, it does kind of suck that you drafted somebody at 25 that you don't know whether or not he will be ready. So
Mhm.
that is a bit of a okay, man. I'm not quite sure there. The rest, though, I mean, I'm pretty fair game with Jaden Huggins. I'm fine with him. Quinshawn Judkins, awesome. You need a running back, and then you get an offensive lineman. Still, you double dip there with Dylan Fairchild. So yeah, you're getting guys. At least four of those, all four of them guys at some point is going to get starter snaps and maybe day one starters for you. So uh, I don't mind this. Joe Mixon is an older running back as well. We got to be looking into the future. Mixon did miss some games last year, so Judkins would be a very good guy to fill in for his shoes whenever that time does come. And again, I think it's about a good B plus. And then overall with the offseason so far, I would say is about a C, maybe a C minus. And so again, the offseason, Nick Casario does these kinds of moves. I wouldn't put it past you to put average this out as a B.
Mhm.
Just a straight from a B plus C kind of offseason, give it a good B, and we'll keep it moving. This is what you want for the Houston Texans. You
A
want them to find
surprising
out
B.
exactly. Yeah. Look, you want them to find out, okay, we got some guys we could work with. We can move forward with these guys, and these guys could potentially become day one starters or starters at some point during the season and get snaps in those spots and maybe not even miss a beat offensively. You want the offense to resemble something from the defense. We know the defense is special. Now we're trying to get the offense there. You get a Quinshawn Judkins, nasty stiff arm, likes to look for content, fights for extra yards. That's swarmy right there.
Mm.
You get a guy, Dylan Fairchild, former state champ wrestler, all right? Only allows one sack. Best pass blocker potentially from the SEC. Very swarmy individual right there as well. Like Josh Simmons, 5 months after patellar tendon got torn, and he's out here in his pro day. He don't got to be in his pro day. He don't got to do this. He's pretty much a lock for a first round pick, but he's going to prove to everyone else now, I want to be higher than just the 20-ish pick in the draft. Like, I want to be a top 15 pick. That's what he wants to do. He wants to get into that top 10 range 5 months after it, and he's out there working his ass off. That's swarmy right there.
Mhm.
Those are three guys right there that ultimately resemble what you want to do as a Houston Texans offensively.
And for those of you who don't know, SWARM stands for Special Work Ethic and Relentless Mindset, an acronym created by our head coach, D'Amico Ryan. So you gave my mock draft a B. Let's try to make it an A. Harley on the board here for 25. Malachi Starks, Josh Simmons, Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, and I'll just leave you with those four.
Man.
You can't go wrong with
That's
either of them.
yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those selections. I guess I would eliminate Malachi Starks. I guess I could eliminate him, even though I love the dude. Um, Man, that'd be an amazing pick for the Texans. But considering you did trade for C.J. Gardner Johnson, I guess you could eliminate him. For the sake of being different, we won't go with Josh Simmons
Mhm.
again, and we can go between tight end and wide receiver, either Luther Burden or Colston Loveland, who I mean, you want to transform this offense. Nick, you know what? If Colston Loveland is there at 25, Nick Cayley, the former tight ends coach, goes gets him a tight end. If one of them guys fall, I believe Nick Cayley is going to be jumping at the table, pounding on the table,
Over a
and
Luther
telling
Burden.
Nick Casario, go get this guy. Go get Colston Loveland at 6'5", about 245. Solid, really good wide receiver, as a tight end, really good hands, really good at route running, can create separation, not afraid to use the hands a little bit. Can he improve in blocking? Absolutely. But is it the worst? No. A lot of people say he can't block. No, he can block. It ain't the greatest. And there's definitely work to be done, but that's why he would be a rookie. Colson Loveland, I think, is what Nick Cayley would love.
So
Pun
you going
intended.
Colston Loveland over Luther Burden?
Why not? Be a
Okay.
little different.
We're trying to make this an A now, Harley.
Okay, well.
So let's go. Loveland is a long and lean tight end prospect that has excellent overall athleticism. He is a natural receiving tight end who is grossly underused throughout his collegiate career. Now, like you mentioned, his blocking leaves a little bit more to desired, but I'm going to go with you. Let's go Colson Loveland at pick 25. I wouldn't be mad at it. I would not be mad at it. I say you haven't had a good tight end since CJ Fedorowicz. You haven't had a great tight end since Owen Daniels.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, yeah.
All right, let's see. I think we can still make this an A. I think we can make this a fantastic draft. I think
Okay.
Colson Loveland, everyone says that's a Nick Cayley move.
And if you get Colson Loveland, you're talking about the second best tight end in the draft that fell to you at 25. So, I mean, I don't mind that pick at all.
Okay. Pick 58. Here we go. Wide receiver, Alik Aomanor.
Mhm.
Offensive tackle, Marcus Imbo from Purdue. Wide
Okay.
receiver, Isaiah Bond. Guard, Tate Ratledge.
Yeah.
You
Go.
got Jaden Higgins, Quinshon Judkins, TJ Sanders, defensive tackle from South Carolina, Travion Henderson. So quite a few names available in the second round.
I mean, it's tough since we did take a tight end, it is tough to pass up on Tate Ratledge there, considering you do need some help on the offensive line. That's probably my pick right there is Tate Ratledge. So, uh, yeah, that would be very, very much fun because now you grab two guys who help yourself offensively and they help blocking wise as well too.
He's been a key piece of the Bulldogs offensive line and wins with strength, football IQ, and a tough play style. Ratledge has a mauler mentality as a
Yeah.
run blocker, setting the tone against defender. He fires off the ball, gets his hand inside, and drives forward to generate movement at the line of scrimmage. Tate Ratledge, you are a Houston Texan, and hey, we're still in. We can still get up there.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I'm not mad at all. I say you got your tight end of
I
the
like it.
future, you got your guard of the future. How can you be mad at that?
And you potentially are trading or getting rid of Dalton Schultz
Oh,
because I'm sure the confidence level would be high in Colston Loveland.
okay. Now, pick 79. We have some work to do.
Okay.
We got Tez Johnson out of Oregon,
Mm,
Jalen Arroyo out of Utah State,
okay.
Jack Beck out of TCU, Shamar Turner, defensive
Mm,
tackle
mm.
out of Texas. Ugh, that's
I,
uh that's nasty.
I love Shamar Turner.
DJ Giddens, wide receiver. I'm sorry, running back out of Kansas
Yeah,
State.
Kansas State.
Um, it's hard not to go with a Jack Beck here,
Hmm.
but I see Shamar Turner. I'm stuck between those two.
One of these picks is going to be a defensive guy for D'Amico Ryans. You know, D'Amico
Let's
is
get it.
going to want a defensive guy, and Shamar Turner is nasty.
Mm.
Shamar Turner was one of the guys for Texas A&M that committed the most penalties on their team. Like, he's just kind of noted as a dirty player, maybe. Hey, you say temper issues. I say he's a swarmy individual that D'Amico Ryans needs to get the greatest of his graces of his hands on Shamar Turner and transform that 6'3", 290 guy, high motor individual, bring him to Houston.
Mm. The only thing wrong with the defensive tackle spot is that you got no one of youth there. I
Yeah.
love what you have currently, but those are just band-aids, just banded over banded 1 to 2 year deals, 1 to 2 year deals. At one point, you got to take a shot in the draft, and I would absolutely love this. D'Amico Ryans gets a swarmer, and if you have two impactful rookies on offense, one impactful rookie on the defense, how can you not say this is an A+ type of draft? Pick 89, just 10 selections later, Harley. Jalen Arroyo out of Utah State.
Okay.
Jack Beck out of TCU, who met with the Houston Texans at the
Yes.
combine. Uh, Kyron Lacey, um, Savion Williams. But other than that, I think Jack Beck might be the pick here for Houston. And
Yeah. So too.
they get some
I think.
exciting whites.
Hey man, I think he does fit exactly what Nick Caley wants. You again, there's nothing wrong with him. He can even work in the slot as well too. And again, it's not a problem to have two slot wide receivers, considering your offensive coordinator knows how to work with two slot wide receivers. He did it well with the LA Rams, so he had a hand in helping the offense out last year as the pass game coordinator. So yeah, I'd go Jack back here, 6'2", 210, I believe it is.
Mhm. Great route
Good
running,
size. Yeah,
willing
good size.
blocker. That's
Oh yeah.
exactly what you want out of Nick Caley. And here you go, Harley. If I tell you to give me a grade, Colston Loveland,
Mm.
25. Tate Ratledge, 58. Shamar Turner, 79. And Jack Beck, 89. Where would you give that grade? You gave me a B, B plus. I,
Yeah,
I'm going at least B plus here. Like at least
yeah,
B plus here for this draft.
yeah, for sure. Because the value of getting Loveland there is so great.
Mm.
Getting Loveland and him falling to you at 25 would be so good. Oof. Yeah, I would say it's about a B plus. It's sniffing A. It's sniffing it. It definitely is. It's dancing around it.
Well, all these
I
could
would.
be day one starters, Harley.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's true too.
Whereas to our other draft, we were waiting for Josh Simmons. We're not waiting for
Mhm.
no one here.
Yeah, yeah, and then Quinshon Judkins wouldn't be a starter in the other draft, but he'd still have great snaps. Don't get me wrong. But this is the only thing is that we didn't get a running back. That's the
Yeah.
only thing. Hey, there's so many things that you can grab for this Texans team. But I do think because the running back class is so deep, the Texans are going to have to find a way
Mm.
to get one of these running backs. That class is so deep this year.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys let us know how we did. That was Harley. I am Ruben. We will see you Friday, 6 o'clock. Be there or be square. Have a real blessed rest of your day.